Shalom and greetings from Jerusalem, Jane. Enjoying some hot Java. I was heading out to do a little bit of shopping, and just as I arrived at the bus stop, the heaven above me just opened and it started pouring rain, and I was like, I don't need to do this shopping today. I can do that tomorrow. So I turned around and I came back home. For anyone who is in Israel during this storm, stay safe. Many places are flooded again. Roads are closed, especially down in the south around the Dead Sea area. People are being rescued out of their vehicles. So if you are in Israel, take precaution, stay safe. The rain is going to be on and off today and also tomorrow. One more sip. I want to give an update about a few things that's going on. The last video update, I was speaking about Mordechai. Mordechai was brutally murdered in a terror attack just before Shabbat, when a vile demonic terrorist in his vehicle, literally, it was a hit and run. He just rammed him down and he brutally murdered him. 69 years old. May his memory forever be a blessing. From there, the terrorists continued out to a bus stop, and people were running, and the terrorist got out of his vehicle and he chased down into a ditch this beautiful 19-year-old Aviv, and he brutally stabbed her to death. Could you imagine fighting for her life with this terrorist, just repeatedly stabbing her? And her parents arrived shortly after, finding their daughter brutally murdered. So these two people, Aviv and Mordechai, was brutally murdered just before Shabbat last week. Now, what I don't understand is why Israel don't have a shoot to kill policy. When security forces arrive at a scene and they engaged at a terrorist who just murdered Israelis or attempted to murder Israelis, I don't know why this country doesn't have a shoot to kill policy. So this terrorist, he was injured, and what do? They take him to an Israeli hospital, and then he's getting treated in an Israeli hospital. He was released, and now of course he's taken into custody. The Arab village he was from was surrounded, and police and border police and intelligence agencies went in and they arrested the two brothers of this vile terrorist, and arrested other people. So two people who was getting ready to go home and celebrate Shabbat with their families were brutally executed, brutally murdered, again for no other reason than being Jewish. And now this vile terrorist was first treated in an Israeli hospital. Now he's going to prison. There's going to be a court case. He's being convicted. He's going to go into an Israeli jail. He's going to get 2-3 meals a day. He can even take a degree if he so desires. And then the Palestinian Authority, the corrupt Palestinian Authority, are going to pay him thousands and thousands of dollars every month. Thousands of dollars for every month. For what? For murdering her, stabbing her to death brutally, and for ramming him, Mordechai and Aviv. So while their families are now missing their loved one, saying goodbye to their most beloved, this terrorist is now going to be rewarded thousands of dollars every month for murdering two Jews. This has been going on for years and years and years and years. I have been reported, you know that if you follow me, I've been reporting about that for so many years. And many of these terrorists who has murdered so many innocent Israelis, so many innocent Jews, they have been released in these terrorists being released in order for us to bring hostages home. And some of these terrorists went into Egypt, and they were sitting at 5-star hotels, gogging at Western women in bikinis and bathing suits, who came from all over the world to Egypt to be on a vacation, and then these terrorists are sitting gawking at them in 5-star hotels, being millionaires for murdering Jews in order for Israel to get precious hostages home. In what world is something like this taking place it's, yeah, it's sometimes it's hard to find the right words to describe all of this. And who's always paying the price? The Jewish people. Always. Right now, the most important person in this world, the Israeli Prime Minister, is on the Israeli Air Force. He is making his way to Florida. He is meeting with another very important person in the world, the American President Donald J. Trump. According to reports, they are meeting tomorrow at Mar-a-Lago, the official estate of the president, tomorrow. So pray for Bibi as he is on his way to America. Pray for protection for him, his wife, the whole plane. Pray for protection when they are in America. And I was thinking here today, this morning actually, when I was in the shower, wow, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since, you have had that shiver down your back and your heart start pumping. Why? Because we were attacked and the siren was blaring and you had to run for cover. And if you read all the articles that have been written about the last 2 years, about what we have gone through, which for many, many times, it has been completely impossible to describe what it's been like to be here in Israel these past 2 years. But to the best of my ability, I have tried. So this morning I was like, wow, it's been a long time since you have had to run for cover. And then I checked my memories on Facebook, and today, 1 year ago, we were under attack from the vile Houthis in Yemen, who was firing rocket at us, ballistic missile was it. So all of this might be over for periods. The war in Gaza is not over. It's a ceasefire. Hamas is still in Gaza. The Houthis are still there. The threat from Hezbollah, the threat from militia in Iraq, in Syria, and of course the mothership of all evil, Iran. So there's a lot for the American president and the Israeli prime minister to talk about, and it's not over. It's not over. Iran is building up again, preparing for the day where they can attack the Jewish state, which they have promised for so many years to do. Hezbollah is still a threat, so it's not over. So while we are kind of just breathing right now, because we are not running for cover, the trauma is still in every single cell, every single muscle, every single nerve in our body. And that's why the new article that I have released, where I'm speaking about the next for me, what's next for me, where I started saying there's been times where it's completely impossible to describe what it's like to have been here in Israel for the last 2 years, with all the things that we have endured, with all the rocket, the ballistic missiles, living with that threat. All of a sudden, you had to drop everything and grab your toddlers and grab your rollers if you are a senior citizen on the fourth floor and get down in the basement. It's completely impossible to describe what it has been like to be here. But like I said, I have tried to the best of my ability, and that's why so many of you have been following me for so many years, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So again, as this year is coming to an end, I cannot thank you enough from the bottom of my heart. Something else that happened, normally I'm wearing the Star of David around my neck, but I broke that chain. I need to get a new chain, so that's why I don't have the beautiful Star of David around my neck. I need a new silver chain, but I want to thank you for standing with me this year and all the years that I have been here. And some people are saying to me, Jane, we know you don't have anyone behind you. We know there's not an organization. There are no co-workers. You're doing what you're doing all the time, just you. And we want to honor you for that. And that's why we are sowing a seed and a blessing into you, because we know it goes to you and not to all kinds of administration and whatnot. But moving forward, I would so much like to interview so many people. And that's what I have put down in an article, my heart's desire, what I believe is next for me, to interview some of all of these people, to interview some of all the people whose child, whose mother, whose grandmother was brutally murdered in a terror attack. You don't hear about it in mainstream media, and they need to have a place where they can come and sit down in my sofa, in my podcast studio, and they can share the story of when their child was brutally murdered. Like we just had these two precious, Aviv and Mordechai, who was just brutally murdered Friday before Shabbat. I want to be the one who has a platform, who is letting all of these stories being told, and invite soldiers who are in Gaza to come and speak on my podcast, also in my news and security updates. So come and speak. What did we find in Gaza? What was it like to run in the tunnels? The soldiers who find Adolf Hitler's book Mein Kampf in children's bedrooms in Gaza, who find all of the rockets in children's bedroom. What was it like in Gaza, facing all of these terrorists and losing so many of their friends? What's it like with the PTSD today? So there's so many stories that needs to be told out of Israel, and I would like to do that. So I hope you will get behind me. I need to raise a lot of funds in order for all of this to come together. I need to find a podcast studio where we can also do current news updates. And then I want to invite security experts from the military, for the Shin Bet, Mossad, different units in the army to come and share news update with me. We have also entered a political year, so there's going to be an election, so it's going to be very, very busy. But I would like to do better than just what I'm doing now, sit and talking to you here from my phone. So again, pray for Benjamin Netanyahu, who's on his way to meet Trump tomorrow. He's also going to be meeting with several of the ministers, including Marco Rubio, while he's in America. Naturally, they're going to talk about Hezbollah, they're going to talk about Iran, they're going to talk about the situation in Gaza. They're talking about bringing the last hostage. There's still the body of one Israeli hostage kept in Gaza. We need to talk about what's next in Gaza. So pray for Benjamin Netanyahu for such a time as this, that he will stand proud and strong, and he will do what's right for Israel, and he will not be pushed to do anything that is not serving the best interest of the Jewish homeland Israel, the nation of Israel, in these very special and critical hours that we are living in. So God bless you. Thank you for those of you who has already shared out the article from Jerusalem Post, where I'm putting down my vision, and where I'm also saying I hope that a whole army of people will grab a hold of this vision and share out that article and say, you know what, we need to get behind Jane. She's just herself, but look what she wants to do. And look at all the Jewish people, thousands of Jewish people whose history, whose story she wants to share to the world. So to all my Jewish followers or friends, share out this video, share out my article to generous donors and people who will sponsor and partnership, so I can share your stories to the world that the world didn't hear in English mainstream media. God bless you, Bibi. Have a great time with Trump, and both of you do what is right for Israel for such a time as this. Bye.